The golden afternoon sun cast long shadows across the busy downtown sidewalk as 32-year-old Robert Bennett hurried to his final business meeting of the day. His grey suit was perfectly tailored. His leather briefcase held contracts worth millions. His mind was focused entirely on the presentation that would secure his promotion to senior partner at the investment firm. Robert had worked 16-hour days for 3 months to reach this moment. Success had always been his driving force ever since his father drilled into him the importance of achievement and financial security. At 32, Robert owned a penthouse apartment, drove a luxury car, and commanded respect in the business world. Yet beneath his polished exterior lay a man who had sacrificed personal relationships for professional advancement. As he walked briskly down the sidewalk, his phone buzzed with last-minute emails from colleagues. Robert was so absorbed in reading a contract amendment that he almost did not notice the small figure sitting on the sidewalk ahead. When he finally looked up, he saw a little girl, perhaps 4 years old, sitting beside a broken shopping cart filled with belongings. The child wore a pink dress that had seen better days. Her curly brown hair was held back with a simple white clip. In her arms she clutched a worn brown teddy bear that looked like it had been with her through many adventures. Despite her circumstances, there was something about the way she sat with quiet dignity that made Robert pause. Behind the girl, near the building's entrance, a woman who looked like her mother was speaking with someone who might have been a social worker. The conversation looked serious, and Robert could see the strain on the mother's face even from a distance. His first instinct was to keep walking. He had learned to navigate city streets efficiently, avoiding distractions. But something about the girl stopped him. She was not asking for anything, not calling out to passers-by, just sitting quietly with her teddy bear, watching the world with the patient acceptance that some children learn far too early. As Robert approached, the little girl looked up with bright, curious eyes. There was no fear in her expression, no wariness. Instead, she gave him a small, genuine smile. "Hello," she said in a clear, sweet voice. Robert stopped walking and looked down at her. "Hello there," he replied, surprised by the gentleness in his own tone. "What is your name?" "I'm Lucy," the girl said, adjusting her grip on the teddy bear. "This is Coco. He's my best friend." "It's nice to meet you, Lucy. And Coco too." Robert found himself kneeling to her level, setting his briefcase on the ground. "Are you waiting for someone?" Lucy nodded toward the adults. "Mama is talking to the lady about where we are going to live. Our cart broke, so we had to stop here." Robert glanced at the shopping cart, its wheel bent. The contents were neatly arranged despite everything: blankets, a few clothes, some books, a few toys. Everything this family owned, organized with care and dignity. "I'm sorry about your cart," Robert said gently. "That must make things difficult." "It's okay," Lucy said with the calm acceptance of a child used to change. "Mama says sometimes things break, but we can always fix them or find new ones." Robert felt something tighten in his chest. Here was a 4-year-old facing homelessness with more grace than he had ever shown in his comfortable life. "Lucy," he asked softly, "is there anything I can do to help you and your mama? Are you hungry? Do you need anything?" Lucy thought for a moment. Then she shook her head. "We don't need food today. Mama packed sandwiches. And the nice lady gave us juice boxes." She paused, then added, "But I think we could use a hug. Do you give hugs?" Robert felt his walls crumble. This child, who had every reason to be bitter, was asking for something money could not buy. "I do give hugs," he said, his voice thick. "I'd be honored to give you a hug, Lucy." Lucy stood up, still holding Coco, and stepped into his arms. Robert hugged her gently and felt something he had not felt in years, the simple warmth of human kindness. "You smell like my daddy," Lucy whispered. "He had to go away, but Mama says he still loves us very much." Robert's eyes filled with tears. When they finally let go, Lucy smiled at him. "Thank you," she said. "That was a very good hug." "Thank you too, Lucy. I needed that more than you know." Lucy's mother approached, her expression tired but kind. "Lucy, honey, we need to gather our things," she said, then noticed Robert. "I hope she wasn't bothering you, sir." "Not at all," Robert said, standing and shaking her hand. "I'm Robert Bennett. "Your daughter is remarkable." "I'm Sarah Williams," the woman replied. "Lucy has always been special. She sees the good in everyone." "Are you finding a place to stay?" Robert asked, already guessing the answer. Sarah's expression tightened. "We're working on it. The shelter is full tonight, but there's a waiting list. We'll figure something out." Robert looked at Lucy, who was sitting quietly again, and made a decision that surprised even him. "Mrs. Williams, I own a small apartment building 6 blocks from here. I have a vacant furnished unit with a bedroom perfect for Lucy. Would you consider staying there while you get back on your feet?" Sarah stared at him. "Sir, I appreciate the offer, but I can't afford rent right now. I lost my job 3 weeks ago when the restaurant I worked at closed. Our savings are gone." "I'm not asking for rent," Robert said firmly. "I'm asking if you'd help me understand what it means to be a good landlord. I've been thinking about turning the building into transitional housing for families in need. You could help me figure out what really works." "Why would you do this for strangers?" Sarah asked quietly. Robert glanced at Lucy, still holding cocoa. "Because your daughter just taught me that the most important things in life can't be bought. And because I've spent so much time building a successful career that I forgot to build a meaningful life." 3 hours later, Robert was helping Sarah and Lucy move their few belongings into the bright, clean apartment. Lucy clapped her hands when she saw the small bedroom that would be hers. As Sarah unpacked, tears in her eyes, Robert realized he had not felt this useful in years. "Mr. Robert," Lucy said, tugging on his sleeve, "will you come visit us sometimes? If your mama says it's okay, I'd like that very much." "Can you teach me about business?" she asked seriously. "Mama says you're very good at it." Robert laughed, the sound surprising him. "I can teach you about business, Lucy. But I think you might have more to teach me about what really matters." Months passed and Robert's life changed in ways he never expected. He helped Sarah find a new job at a company owned by one of his clients. He turned his apartment building into a transitional housing program that provided shelter, job training, and support for families in crisis. Lucy became a regular part of his life, visiting his office after school. She charmed his colleagues with questions about everything from how elevators worked to why people wore suits. She had a way of cutting through the complexity of adult problems with simple observations that carried more wisdom than any business strategy. "Mr. Robert," she said one afternoon as they shared a snack in his office, "do you remember when I asked you for a hug?" "I remember. It was one of the most important moments of my life." "I knew you needed one too," Lucy said. "You looked like Coco did when I first found him at the store. Fancy on the outside but lonely on the inside." Robert smiled, thinking about how much had changed since that day. "You were right, Lucy. I was lonely even though I didn't realize it." "Are you still lonely now?" Robert looked around his office. It now had Lucy's drawings on the walls, photos of the families his program had helped, and thank you notes from people whose lives had changed. "No," he said honestly. "I'm not lonely anymore. And do you know why? Because you learned that hugs are more important than money. That's part of it. But mostly because I learned that the best way to feel connected is to help people when they need it most. You taught me that, Lucy." That evening, walking home through the same streets where they met, Robert reflected on how a simple request for a hug had changed his life. He once believed success meant climbing higher and earning more, but Lucy had shown him that real success was measured in the lives you touched. His phone buzzed with a text from Sarah. "Lucy wants to know if you can come to dinner Sunday. She's making her famous peanut butter sandwiches." Robert smiled as he typed back, "I wouldn't miss it for the world." Sometimes the most profound changes begin with the smallest gestures. A girl asking for a hug. A businessman choosing to stop and listen. A family opening their hearts to a stranger who needed them as much as they needed him. Robert discovered that the currency of the heart was worth more than all the contracts in his briefcase, and that the best investment you can make is in the simple connections that remind us what it means to be truly wealthy.